Hello, and welcome to game number
go.
2 in this Tier 6
5
American
seconds.
Battle Cup tournament. I'm Scott.
Reserve
I
time.
want a sandwich.
He wants a sandwich, but he had a wonderful nap, so at least we've got half of his needs taken care of. We were just looking at this draft and wondering why in the world of Bongo, Meepo has been banned by Radiant.
I imagine they're just feeling good and having a little fun with it. There's no rational reason to ban Meepo against a team that you don't know has a history of running it. So unless they've been doing some scouting in the last 10 minutes that I don't know about, I think they're just having a little bit of fun with that.
Indeed. We've got
Radiant's
Slardar,
banned.
the final band coming out of Dire. Their team name being something weird that I can't remember how to pronounce. Kiot.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. Blue guy,
10
Slardar.
seconds
So
to
they
go.
definitely expect to see some sort of roaming, ganking, later
5
game carry
seconds.
potential. But the way these lanes are lined up, yeah, I could see them maybe thinking that.
Reserve
But
time.
High likelihood of us seeing the same lane setup thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
defensive
Juggernaut,
tri-lane
Ogre,
with the
Magi,
ability to
and
suddenly
Jakiro
turn.
again. I think we're very likely to see that again after how well it turned out last game. Jakiro really was doing an excellent job of setting up kills for Juggernaut with those ice paths.
Indeed, though it's interesting to me to see that Dire doesn't really seem
Radiant's
to be
pick.
set up super well for a tri-lane themselves. So they might just end up dominating a
Dire's
dual
pick.
lane and then surviving in a side lane. Dusa coming out as the last pick there. Survivable?
Presumably as a mid.
Of course. So we've got a bit of a name change
10
going on
seconds to
here
go.
on our wonderful Domino's team.
They have finally adopted thematic
5
names for
seconds.
their team.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
Wow. And some of them have even changed their icons, so I'm not sure who's who. We'll see as they get picked. I mean, certainly Caketown will pick Jakiro. Certainly Master, who I happen to know is Dilron
10
over
seconds
here,
to
will pick
go.
Ogre Magi, and certainly Mark II will
Faceless
pick
Void.
Juggernaut. Ooh, heavy carry status coming out of Faceless Void, which is interesting because he's not especially good against Medusa, is he, Steve?
No. That's an interesting pick.
Juggernaut, yeah, maybe. Jakiro, sure. I would have expected
Let's
something
keep
more
it
like a
clean,
Nate if they
folks.
hadn't banned it. Or maybe a
Everybody get set.
Ursa? Faceless Void doesn't like Ursa. My camera panning appears to have been improved massively, so let's go ahead and find out who's who. I happen to know that Medusa is currently being played by Eldent, so he must be fresh sausage. Maybe I'll just call him Medusa the entire time.
That would be a safe bet.
He's going mid, as you guessed appropriately, with 4 tangos of clarity and sentry wards. Smart move, though I imagine that's strictly because Ricky is in the game. We've got Cool Glasses Guy on Dazzle, Genos on Storm Spirit. Meanwhile on Leviathan we've got Zerakim.
30 seconds to showtime.
Yeah, Storm is
Zero
missing
is
from mid.
Ricky.
Oh, there he is.
I feel like I'm missing someone. Grim Department on Faceless Void. See Serpent coming out, hitting a couple. They dropped a Remnant right on the spot, but no one seemed to have walked into it before it dissipated. Fresh Sausage getting a few hits off things. Grim Department supporting his support.
And it
And
looks
here we
like
go.
Domino's will take this top rune.
Uncontested down here is... Oh wait, no, it's very much contested, but Ricky got it anyway.
Radiant on one side.
Viper.
Dire on
Who's
the
playing
other.
Viper? Who did we miss? Caketown, Mark, Eldon. Nyan. Nyan must be playing Viper. Why did they do this to us?
They really want me to just beat them
Storm
with
is
something.
missing again.
We called it Tri-Lane Top on this off lane for Radiant.
This is the lane that won in the last game, and Faceless Void could easily do the same thing up here. I think better defensive support with Dazzle there will definitely make that a little bit more difficult.
And I think Storm has
certainly.
10 left.
And Void is certainly going to be able to benefit from his ability to escape better than Drow's lack of ability to escape. And maybe he'll be able to dodge a few more ice paths. Yan is Viper being kept out of his lane. Picking on a poor little Ricky, but Ricky's got invisibility and he's got some regen on him. So we might not see a lot of action there for a little bit unless Yan gets way too greedy.
This will be an easy lane for Nian to get killed in, I think. He's not up against another ranged hero, but Ricky will have an easy time getting in harassment hits. And with some follow-up from Tide, this could be very dangerous.
One wrong move, a nasty gush. And he hasn't ended up getting corrosive skin at all. Fairy Fire is his pocket heal, and it's the only heal he's got. Theoretically, it could make Ricky make the wrong move and get himself killed.
He was also carrying a salve, but he's just popped that.
Oh, he was. Thank you. Wow. This is hilarious. Has Ogre Manta even left the spot? I guess now he has. Oh, and he's going back. Ogre.
Dyer's mid tower could use a little help.
Pulling the lane. Mid lane, we see a rotation from Ricky. Cool looking mana shield coming out of Fresh Sausage, aka Eldent. Kind of a wasted Remnant coming out of Genos. Didn't actually get him any last hits that I saw. Oh wait, maybe his color's just brown so it blended in. Because he's certainly getting his share of last hits. Though he's certainly being outdone by Medusa. She's on her 18th last hit.
Yeah, this is going excellent mid.
Oh, snap.
Last of my kind.
They got first blood, and we missed it. Chased him up into the trees, finishes him off with Juggernaut.
Sorry, I'm just gonna take a mid.
Let's see an instant replay. He attempts to TP out, extremely wounded, and they just follow him till he dies.
Last of my kind.
And that's the same kind of getting caught out of position that ended the last game. If this becomes a habit, then we're going to see the same kind of problem where your late game carry turns into the thing that beats the other team win.
Blue Man Bear cartoon group appears to be changing things up. They're either changing it to a tri-lane or just putting in Ricky here for some extra support.
Well, that's interesting. Kind of giving up on winning the bottom lane here. I was expecting them to go more aggressive here and do fairly well.
Yes. Viper's going to be able to pick up a lot more farm now that Ricky's gone. Even picking on Zerakim. No kill there. Not without boots. GP coming back in from Storm Spirit. He's got his bottle. Has elected not to go Electric Vortex. Probably more of a farming build than anything else right now. Perhaps appropriate unless you're expecting a lot of rotations in. Well, they know that they've got a sentry down now.
Yeah, that's an interesting build. I might have expected Vortex to be more of a priority with this lineup where they don't have a whole lot of stuns or slows on this team.
Especially once you've seen Medusa farming as much as she has. You need a gank at that point. You're not just going to be able to kill her like this.
No.
Mana Shield really going to work. Meanwhile, they've got a gank bottom. Melty Cheese, he's in trouble, gets gushed.
No follow-up, though.
Right behind him, a Ricky. That's not a Ricky, that's a Dazzle who's invisible. He hasn't been seen, I don't think. But what he can do, but Poison Touch and hit him a few times, not exactly much.
At level 2, no, that's not going to do a ton.
Tidehunter up there farming. Ricky shoots in behind him, starts stabbing, but at this point with his boots...
Just too slow, and there's that...
Great little ice path.
I hesitate to call that clutch, but it was where it needed to be.
Turn and fight!
Agreed.
Guys, come!
We're seeing a huge spread going on here between our top 3 and our next 4. Definitely the last hit's going in the favor of Radiant. Good news for them for sure. Another Sentry Ward getting dropped here. Oddly enough, I've only seen it helpful against a Dazzle who was just crossing her path. Invisible. Hasn't yet expended his Fairy Fire. Hasn't really faced much pressure until since Ricky left that one time. I mean, the other fight, but he just ran away from that. Never needed to spend it. Void getting up in levels, now that he's kind of alone, up to level 4. Compare that with Ogre Magi's 3. Where is he? And Juggernaut's 4. Almost 5. So we might see Chronosphere here before too long. Oh, don't walk back into the fight grid department. He's making a break for it. It'll be 13 more seconds for his next escape move. Does he have the speed to get out of here?
He does not.
Dang. Sliced in half.
I'll fit you for your death.
He's definitely not quite as clumsy as that drow we saw last game, but he is still getting caught out by this Juggernaut and Ogre.
Dyer's mid-towers having technical difficulties.
And still plenty of mana from both of them for the next time they need to spend a few spells.
That just short run back into that fight shows you that definitely cost him his life, and that shows you how important accurate micromanagement is, even for just a single unit.
We're doing an instant replay right here as Nyan chases down a Tidehunter who just hung out too long with too much damage on his skin and gets killed, barely taking any tower hits himself.
That kind of a death is so easy to give yourself against Viper. You really have to be on your toes.
Easy to underestimate the small amount of damage he seems to be doing when he first starts hitting you versus the incredible amount of damage he gets later.
I can actually attack the tower.
Ricky sneaking into the top lane. Not sure if they know he's here. They don't have wards in the area that would protect him. They drag him in. Mark II starts getting his face beat in, but he hasn't taken enough damage. Grid Department escapes, gets some heals on. Genos is maybe hanging out too long, but it just baits in Mark II and Juggernaut to get themselves killed. Now Caketown also in too deep. 4 have rotated in from the other team.
That's exactly what these guys
Dyer's mid-tower could use a little
Let's
help.
take the tower, I'll go mid.
Ouch, huge gold swing, 1,400 going the way.
Okay, you 3 take the tower.
Dyer's
Holy crap, what is their team name?
technical difficulties. Them Dyer buildings are
Cartoon Blue Man.
for now.
Tidehunter hanging out closer to the tower this time. Maybe felt the burn. That's not political. Meanwhile, mid lane, got a bit of a dive, taking some pot shots at the tower, trying to get that last hit on the tower. Kinos doesn't quite keep her from doing it. Now he's out a little too far, has to spend all of his mana just scooting back a few feet.
does get him away from that Mystic Snake, though.
That Mystic Snake, though. Meanwhile, behind her sneaks up a Ricky, but he's not going to be able to do much with his poor mana pool right now.
Awesome.
Just waiting for some last hits right now. Unless this guy can get more last hit than his measly 9 that Zero has, I can't see Ricky being a huge part of the game.
No, he's definitely going to take a long time to get dangerous at this rate.
And until then, all these wonderful sentry wards that have been being purchased by Domino's are going to go a long way to keeping him down. We see a Chronosphere complete from Grid Department. See if he's going to be able to use it. He appears to be still stacking up some other stuff. As far as
Yeah, he's just about finished his treads.
what's really unfortunate for their team, and kind of what also makes me surprised that Faceless Void was even chosen, is that they don't have a lot of skills that reach into a Chronosphere. Ricky has to get too close. Dazzle just kind of the support. Tidehunter has Ravage. Gosh, that's something, but he's still melee. And Storm Spirit has a slow or short attack range.
Yeah, they're not going to be very well equipped to capitalize even on an excellent Chronosphere. I mean, no, actually, with the right setup, Ricky's ult could combo with it quite well, but Ricky needs to get it off. I mean, effectively before the Chronosphere happens. Use the Chronosphere to hold people inside it. That could be quite devastating, but if Ricky never gets any damage...
Grid Department's trying to make a move on Yan, but it's just not happening. He just doesn't have the damage. Outside the Chronosphere, Fresh Sausage has done a lot of damage himself. Meanwhile, Zerakim, barely shallow graved in time, Let's see if he gets out of here, but he's got a lot of people in his case. Ogre Magi's got a stun in a few seconds, but it's too late. Eldon takes him out with an arrow.
Dire's lost the top tower.
Juggernaut destroys a tower top. They really capitalize on this team fight happening bottom and win the team fight.
Dire's carries are just not getting any gold. It tells us a lot that their top last hit is, well, Leviathan.
And at a measly 31 as well. They are getting outplayed in the laning stage.
Yeah, both Juggernaut and Medusa are sitting at over twice their carries last hit score.
Let's talk items for a second. Interesting Dragon Lance coming out of Medusa. Still very popular, but for carries, ranged carries. We're probably going to see an identical build from the Ogre Magi of the last game. Really nothing significant happening here.
Especially.
Nothing significantly
it gives
different.
him attack speed, it gives him...
Dire's bottom tower got blown to bits.
Jakiro, definitely not going the items yet, but we could maybe expect to see another gem, honestly. But he's definitely been doing his ward job spectacularly. What we've talked about Faceless Void and his Chronosphere makes me expect to see maybe a Battle Fury coming out next, because he needs to be able to avoid fights while the rest of his team... Oh, meanwhile, we've got a fight brewing here at bottom lane, pushing in toward a tower. Medusa taking those long shots at the tower and everything else. Jakiro hitting the tower to lower its attack speed. It's 0 right here, but they know him. They know he's here. Hit him with an Ice Path, hit him with a stun. Little bit failure at stun stacking, but the Serpents and everything else do plenty of damage. Take him out. Everyone else came into maybe support. Shallow Grave is not going to be enough, and he falls as well. 0 dies, and then Zara Kim dies. Really nothing they could have done for him. He should have abandoned ship. I don't know. That was
a
really
bad
sad.
time to pick a fight for them.
Really unfortunate. I think it's easy to overestimate the fact that you're fighting under a tower and expect it to work in your favor, but with Jakiro slowing down the tower's attacks and there being a creep wave right there, it was just a bad situation. And Domino's was ready. They had the dust, they had wards, and they actually saw him earlier than I expected, so I almost wonder if one of them has gem? No, not yet. Somehow they knew he was around. Probably this sentry right here. But it's not that close.
Best score.
Because they were attacking him around here.
Look at your kill score. And my kill score. Best score.
Yeah, this is just not the lineup that blue cartoon guy is supposed to have.
Void is finally starting to catch up with the space created by the bodies of his team. But there's only so far you can get on that train.
Dire definitely needs to invest in some blood and guts that maybe are acidic and explode when they die. That seems to be the tactic they're built for right now.
I mean, we are only looking at 8-3, but it feels like the game is swinging a lot harder than that. Shows.
Do we dare look at the gold graph? I say, ooh, that's a better lead than this time last game. And this is 6th division.
What's up?
I really thought it would be a closer game, honestly.
I could have been wrong about that. This might only be 5th division, but I've been led to believe that Caketown would have dragged them up to 6th. Definitely last game, that Drow felt like she was bringing the rest of her team up a division, or possibly even 2 higher than they're used to playing.
Well, Dire chicken out of this tower fight this time. Having learned their lesson, they decide to turtle up a little bit and maybe take it on the high ground.
As far as
Mechanism pickup, Viper.
How to do it is to be short, and then Melody picks it later.
I'll be interested to see just when they decide to start
So
using
what
it.
you have to do is you
Because, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't actually get that wounded until they
And
are
then
up on
she
high
should
ground,
be able to help.
sieging the base. Arcade Boots
Radiant's
coming out of
top
Cake
tower
Town.
is taking hits.
Yeah.
Mjolnir,
Tell her that
Maelstrom,
you're, like,
excuse
willing
me.
to pay for it,
Built
or
on
whatever you need to do
Eldon's
to not be fired,
Medusa.
But that happened, and accidents happen, man.
Do we have any significant items
I've
coming
had
out
that
of
happen
Dire
to
so
me, too.
far?
It
Ooh,
will be fun.
Storm
Not
Spirit.
much.
Yeah. He needs to be doing much better than this if he's going to make any sort of impact. Let's see. Point Booster. Deconstruct the Arcane Boots.
Yeah,
You still need a bunch of gold to finish off a Bloodstone.
whatever you want to there.
At that point, I don't know. Bloodstone might not even be the thing to go for.
When you're
Bloodstone's kind of
performing like this, Bloodstone is really risky.
I would almost hope he'd go something like Ginsu,
Yeah.
which is still
I
expensive,
get it.
but
It's
would
happened
help
to me
him
too, so
work with his team to take
Dire's
down
top tower
yeah,
the highest priority targets in a team fight.
That's why I ended up doing it. I just thought fix it.
Possible Chrono coming in from Chin department, but he's seen, he's spotted. They all know he's here.
down.
Okay.
He blinks in, Ricky uses his tricks of the trade, everyone walks out. Uh-oh, Medusa ult, but she gets stopped by Chronosphere. Ravage coming out, catches a couple, but not enough to do any significant damage. Storm Spirit absolutely destroyed by the spells coming out of Cake Town. Zerakim, he just cannot move fast enough. Dazzle wastes his shallow grave as Mark II catches up to him anyway. Chin department attempts to TP out, no dice there. Dazzle as well gets killed. Ricky is the only one who doesn't participate in the absolute massacre. Being invisible, he scurries away and calls GG.
Radiant's mid tower.
Boy, dang. 17 and a half minutes.
Ain't that a thing?
Did you expect this coming out of a team that also won a match against some tier 6, supposedly team?
Dire's top tower's getting
This is a weird game.
I'm thinking they must have had some sort of strategy going into this game, such that they picked these heroes in spite of what they were up against.
I'm here now.
But I'm not quite
I'm
seeing
here
it.
now.
The Void just throws me off. Ravage Void is cool. It's really
I
great.
go Shadow Blade.
But these others, they aren't there.
They said there was a misclick on the draft. I wonder what that was that they're referring to. Maybe that was the Void.
Maybe we can ask one.
Oi!
Guy,
What was the misclick on their draft?
They wanted Slardar.
oh, they banned him instead of picking Slardar?
Dire's top rags.
Or instead of who? Void?
Boy. It wouldn't have done anything really. It was just what they wanted to do. Because they had a player that played Slardar.
Yeah. I mean, they would lane it the same, right?
Yeah.
And then
it
Slardar
wouldn't
would
have done
die
anything.
there
It
as well.
would have died plenty.
After a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
These guys won't. GG, he says. Let it count down. Oh, that's why it's not canceling.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go ahead and end it here because this has been an exciting and fun to watch game. Definitely a lot of skill coming out of Doritos or Dominoes or whatever they are.
Oh, I don't know if I'd go that far. I'm sure they're very terrible.
No, having a beefcake is great.
Maybe they'll
Yeah.
improve in their terribleness next game.
And
This is
Ogre
Scoop
actually
signing
is one
off.
of the few